Yo, what's going on, E7 fam? I'm Sue, and today I want to talk about the March 13th update that was shown this morning, the one that's going live tomorrow if you're watching this video the day that it airs. I was not expecting everything that was going to be in this patch, right? I totally thought this was just going to be, here's your new Guild War, here's your MLTU, that's it, right? Nothing else. To my surprise, there's exclusive equipments, a new skin, and also, if we scroll down here, Brawl. Right, I was not expecting Brawl to be in this patch. They said it would come in March, right? But they've been radio silent as SG does. They're the worst when it comes to communicating with their player base. So I thought, hey, for such a big gameplay addition, they would at least give us a heads up that it's coming, right? But no, here it is. Just gonna be here tomorrow. And honestly, I think this is the most exciting thing in the patch, because one of the things that E7 has really struggled with is interesting, repeatable content. And Brawl, as you can see here, first introduced in Special Side Story Night of the Last Succession. I can't speak. Yeah, so it was first introduced in Galililius' side story. It was very interesting content that I played for weeks on end. I really liked it, and I was hoping that they would make it a permanent feature. And lo and behold, as you can see here, as regular content means it is, yes, a permanent feature, right? And if we scroll down here a little bit, right, you can see Season 1, it lasts for a month. This is implying that every month they will update Brawl with new heroes, new features, new rewards, so on and so forth. So there is something to look forward to that changes month after month in Epic 7 in this new gameplay mode. So for me, I'm very, very excited about this, right? And it has a fresh coat of paint also with these things relics here. They grant various different effects, right? And basically, if you've played any game that has like a roguelike element, like Simulated Universe and Honkai Star Rail, or like Hollow Zero and Zenless Zone Zero, where you go in, you do your run, when you complete it, whether you succeed or you fail, you get some currency, and then there's like a bunch of different trees for you to invest in to make your character stronger for the next time. That's kind of what this is. And then, I'm assuming that these trees will reset every single month and be like fresh, different ways to explore the content. And honestly, if they get real creative with it, then this will be a pretty exciting feature and something that will keep you engaged with Epic 7 when there's not really a whole lot of content. Because right now, in 2025, the state of the game's content is not very good, right? With the release of Fene, right, and the Dash Pass event from a couple months ago, most new players can clear hunts within like the first week of them starting the game. With my Abyss Guide series, with the help of Commander Arena, even almost anybody could clear the hardest content, PvE content in the entire game. And then, like, once you have, like, your Dagger Sakar Expedition challenge is done, the only thing left to do is play PvP. And right now, the state of PvP, roughly 70 to 75% of all units are limiteds, collabs, and ML5s that are actually viable in the format, and not everyone has access to them, especially if they're a newer player who's been playing for less than a year. So the gameplay mode is not really accessible to most new players, right? And those of veteran players who are unlucky might not also be able to deal with that content, play that content as well. So for them, this is something for those people to do that want to engage with Epic 7, with the world of Orbis, and they might not have the tools to step foot into PvP because of the current breakneck release schedule and everything feeling like it has to be or must be pulled, right? A must-pull unit, right? Everything must be a must-pull unit. There's an achievements tab. This is pretty much the same as like the reputation rewards that you've come to expect. The fact that there's a challenge mode though is pretty exciting. Hopefully these are like truly difficult. Things like Dagger Sakar level, things that you have to aspire for that'll keep you kind of trying to sit there and think about how to get them, to complete the challenge. Like, I want stuff like that. I want hard content back in the game. I don't want everything to be just like, oh, well, if you play the Fene, you just win. Or like, oh, if you play the banner unit, you just win. Right? Just give me something actually hard and repeatable. I'm 1000% here for it. Here's the instructions on how to play everything, right? In case you were unaware. And by the way, if you guys do want to see a guide for Brawl, let me know. I'll try my best. I'm not the best person at it, right? I don't play a lot of auto chess games, but if you're new, you didn't play the Gala side story at all, and you're interested on this, like I'm gonna do a deep dive. I'll probably stream Brawl over the next couple of days, try to figure out what makes it tick, what's different about it, what are good synergies, things like that. I think that this would be very, very fun, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. And then there's this special shop also, where it's essentially a vehicle for them to let you get specific things that are featured in the Brawl season. These summon tickets, these are honestly not really worth it, right? If you scroll down here, you can see what's in them. So you're paying 2320 Skystones for a chance at one of these 5 RGBs, 2 of which are limited, 4 of which are right? Like, and most of these characters are just not really playable. This is like roughly $50 in Skystones for a chance at basically a bunch of units that don't see any play. So like, this is not worth it. And then obviously the 4-star ticket for 2100 is also not worth it. Like, that's like way overcosted IMO. The Brawl participation is also like, even at 800, for 800 Skystones, you get one of these 4-stars, which you'll get from just summoning on your dailies. Just play more than a month, you probably have all of these. Like, I promise you, you probably have more than all of these. Like, this is actually a big scam. What's not a scam, though, actually is the Skystones for the skins. So you could get Last Rider Crow or Bellion's RTA skins here for 1600 Skystones. Previously, every skin has cost 1800 Skystones in order to get, right? Or skin tickets. And skin tickets, they come around at a snail's pace. You usually only get enough to buy like 1 skin, maybe 2 skins in a year off of just the skin tickets from the battle passes, if that's the route you want to go for, right? So yeah, and even then, you just look at this, right? 1800 is what you normally are paying for a skin. The RTA skins are 16. Like, it's just, it's a better deal. Like, if I wanted these skins, like Bellion Harmonic Conductor is a gorgeous skin. If I wanted this skin, I would just throw down the 1600. I think it's absolutely worth it. Like, these skins are worth it. Hell, even these ones, like if you like Corinne, or you use her on your Wyvern team, you like the Shore Patrol skin, this is half off what it used to be. Right? Because the only other way to get skins, aside from Skystones, is skin tickets, which are very scarce. You don't usually get a lot of them in a year. You get like enough for like 1, maybe 2 skins. Or you have to spend Skystones, and this is cheaper than it's ever been to buy these for actual Skystones. So this aspect of the shop, thumbs up, Smilegate. This aspect, holy hell, this is scamming you. All right, now we'll move on to talking about Guild Wars. So Guild Wars, when it was first announced, the change to it, they announced they were going to merge all the servers, as you can see from the example image, global versus Europe. My initial thoughts of this were, okay, so the player base has dwindled to a point where high-ranking EU guilds can't find other guilds to fight. Japan, high-ranking guilds can't find other guilds to fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge the pool so that, you know, all the high-ranking guilds just fight each other regardless of server. It's kind of to mask the fact that guilds they can't stock guilds with enough people to make the format actually work. Like, at least that's my take on it. Right? I don't see any other reason why you would do this. So that's kind of what we're doing here, right? Global matchmaking, Guild Wars here. Now, so this is going to start, it looks like this Friday, right? So basically, like 48 hours after this video goes live is when the newest Guild War goes down. And they've changed the way that the actual Guild War works. Before, it used to be 3 defense towers, 1 stronghold. You knock down 2 defense towers, then you kill the stronghold, and then you would go and kill the 3rd defense tower and then clean up all the satellites. So now it's 1 stronghold, 2 defense towers, and technically 7, because you can see out of the 10 satellites, you can assign a defending member up to 7. So basically, there are 3 sections, left, right, and then center. You can't attack center until you kill 1 defense tower and 1 stronghold in the left side, and then 1 defense tower and 1 stronghold in the right tower, and then you have to kill 1 defense tower in the center, and then you can go for the stronghold. So in the previous system, you needed 4 strong players, 3 for your defense towers, 1 for your stronghold. With the new system, you will need 6 strong players, right? You'll need 6 defense towers. Actually, it's actually different than that. Yeah, you'll need 9. Yeah, so you would need 6 defense towers and then 9 strongholds. So it kind of makes it so that the overall quality of the player is more valuable in your guild than it has been previously. And you can kind of see that by scrolling down here and looking at the guild building health adjustment, right? So before, their stronghold was 1500, now it's 800, and then defense towers go from 800 to 450, and satellites still stayed the same. So essentially, the larger towers are easier to take down, so it'll be easier for the best guilds to just cleave through them. And then the satellites will actually matter a bit more because, like, maybe not the best of the best guilds, like not like rank 1, like top 5, top 10 guilds, they clear everything. They kill everything no matter what. But like, you're like rank 80, rank 90 guilds, they clear like the defense towers, the strongholds, and then they start to pick and choose the satellites a little bit. Now, because the defense towers of the strongholds have overall, right, lower health, that means that even the guilds that normally wouldn't full clear probably will try to full clear now. Like, it just overall, it feels like they have pushed the system to be more competitive, to value stronger overall guildmates rather than just like, oh, my guild is carried by like 4 individuals. It's now going to be like, oh, you actually have to have like a fully stocked guild, I feel like, with this new system. And then there's obviously the guild ranks. Top 32 is Legend. Top 100 is going to be Emperor. Top 10% is Champion. Top 20% is Challenger, and so on and so forth. And you get 5x rewards at Challenger. This is about where it was before. Top 20% got 5x Mystic medals. That's not going to change. Now you get the Commander's armbands. These are the things that let you buy like Warhorn, Proof of Valor, the Mystic medals, Molagoras, like stuff like that every week in the shop. Right, that's what this currency is. So if you're like a high performer, you'll get more armbands. It's cool, whatever. I think most people just care about having the legend frame for Guild Wars, right? So that's kind of what this new system is about. I think with them mashing all the servers together, my guild is normally like a top 100 guild. I worry that we might actually be a champion level guild now, because with the top like, you know, 50-ish guilds coming in from like EU, and the top 50-ish from Japan, the top 50-ish from like Asia, that's going to drive us, who's like normally like ranked like 60, 70, that's going to probably drive us out unless like we step up our stuff. So if any of the Baka boys are watching, yeah, we can't be slacking no more. That's all I'm going to say. Then here's the new frames. Honestly, the new frames are they're pretty ugly. These look like League of Legends knockoffs. Like they look like they tried to make these look like League of Legends, and they succeeded, but it just screams, hey, it's a League of Legends knockoff. I really like the old Emperor frame looking like the crab. I don't really like this new frame. Oh well. Anyways. Then we have, if we scroll down here after Guild Wars, we have, oh right, one last thing before I do actually jump off Guild Wars. This thing. I almost forgot about this. So if you guys did not see, there is one other major change to Guild Wars here. If a player yields or disconnects before a hero dies, before the enemy has already, but the enemy has already used a skill to attack, the hero will now be considered dead. So, before, if the AI would attack you, and it would kill a character, you had a real quick window where you could just quickly yield the match before the character's death animation concluded, and you would keep the character. So like, oh, my Mort died, or oh, my Afternoon Soak Flan died, or oh, my Luna died, right? You could save it by yielding. And it's been that way for 7 years, right? And we all just kind of accepted it. Now they're basically putting their foot down and say, hey, we're trying to make Guild Wars more competitive by bringing everybody together. Now, if the AI uses the skill, it's already computed server side if the character is dead. So if you yield, you don't save the character anymore, right? You can't like frame perfect save the character. Like that exploit is gone. And I know people will complain about it, but like if they want to make the format competitive, this is kind of how it is. There's one other thing also before I jump there. Hidden records. This is also a pretty good change, right, that I forgot to talk about. When you're matched against the top 100 guild, your attack and defense records will be hidden. This is super big because I've seen a lot of times where like a defense of mine will have like 6 or 8 like green shields, and then it'll have 2 red shields. It's like, oh, somebody figured out finally how to beat my defense, and then like I won't change my defense for the next war, and everybody will look at my records, and then they'll just play the same team that beat me into it over and over and over again. And it's like, oh man, well, like if they didn't know that my team lost to that combination, then I could have kept playing the sweet defense that I cooked up. That took me like a couple hours to cook up. So this is like really cool, I think, because if you're like a top guild, you'll be able to, if you defeat something, you can hold that, like you can kind of like the top guilds have like note taking, like they'll take they have scouts that kind of report like, oh, this guy's this fast and this, oh, and this is what worked in this situation, so they can go back and consult and be like, okay, so like this is the defense we're attacking, this is what worked before, and we could use it. And you don't like need to rely on, you don't have to show or like go look at the shields and figure it out that way, right? It makes it so that if you have a really good defense, it's going to stay a really good defense in top Guild War now. So I actually like this quite a lot. Successor Teiyu, we already talked about him in my first impressions videos. I think that he is a very good unit for you to pull if you want an aggro character, right? If you like to play aggro or you like to play cleave, I think he is going to be a very fun pickup. If you're somebody who likes to play very slow, very tank down, I don't really think he's going to be particularly amazing for you. Regardless of how you feel, like if you want to just go for him right away or not, I would still encourage you to wait a couple of days, let people like me or Tristan or Valky or Elvmage pull the character because we have the resources to do so, and then we'll give you our opinion on him. Like, MLs at this point have just dominated the game, and now more than ever, it's very important that you pick the very best ones. So if you like the design, you can go for it. But even if you want him, you think he fits your playstyle, wait a couple days, see what people are saying, show some restraint on the character. Because if he ends up being kind of trash, right, you still have 3 weeks to decide if you want him or not, right? So, me personally, I would hold off a little bit. I do think he is worth the pulls, but again, because we have like this series of, oh, this character's broken, this character's meta, this character's broken, this character's meta, over and over and over again, like every release seems to be. This is one of those ones where I'm like, he's kind of specialized, so maybe he might not necessarily be a must-have for everybody. So I would wait and see a little bit on him. Oh no, Moonlight Theater Nadalon Academy Season 2. So we're getting 6 more story segments. I guess we could voice this with Luna and Red and Tristan. For those of you guys who've been watching our Tory side story stuff, we're trying to make that a regular feature where I have them on every Thursday. So tomorrow we're supposed to do Fallen Land. We're supposed to record, kind of have a stream where we voice out Fallen Land. Let me know down in the comment section below if you would rather us voice Nadalon Academy instead. But I think honestly I'd rather do Fallen Land. I think it's a better story. But eventually we'll probably table back and read these stories, like voice these stories together. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you check out the streams on Thursday night. All right. So we scroll down here, and I think this is like the last like major thing that's here in the patch. This is the 2 new exclusive equipments, and they're for very, very meta relevant units. Infinite Horizon Acades and Veronica. Both of these characters are played by a huge swath of the player base at all ranks. So kudos to SG. They're really paying attention, I feel like. These are very good choices to get exclusive equipments because they're both good. They're both played. But could they use a little something, something? Yeah, right? To bring them in line, to make them like truly meta, right? So let's talk about the first one. It's on Veronica. It's Protected Pistol. It gives 16% effectiveness, which is very good, right? This character really cares about crit chance, really cares about speed, really cares about effectiveness and attack. Like, those are the stats that she cares about. Most people build her with a crit chance necklace, so crit chance would not have been super great. It would have been wasted stats on her. So that leaves you with attack, effectiveness, and speed. Speed is a bit overkill on the character because she's already a speed imprint, and decently fast, right? Most people can get her at the higher tiers up in like the high 200s. Some people I've played against even have like 300, right? So yeah, your options being effectiveness or attack. I like this. I personally would have probably rather have had attack percentage because I find that if your attack is a little bit low, it's under like 280 or 2800, right? 2800. It feels like the character doesn't have as big of an impact as I'd like her to have. So, but effectiveness is good just because even some people who play are like cleave aggro, they play no effectiveness. So I'm sure they think this is probably a great change overall. So if we look at the choices that you have, the first one here is on the S2 Vampire Hunter. At the end of someone's turn, when the enemy is immortal, grants increased attack to the caster for 1 turn. So that solves that 2800 attack problem I just talked about. If you have low attack, you can't proc immortality on BBK because you just don't do enough damage when the bomb detonates. Boom, this solves that problem. Second one here is also on Vampire Hunter. Her passive, Vampire Hunter, increases her combat radius by an additional 30%. This is great if you're going to be one of the ways that people try to counter your Veronica when you're playing the BBK, right? Is they take like Abyssal Euphine to cut it in half. So now instead of going from 50 to 25, you go from 80 to 40, which is still enough to kill the BBK, which takes that counter off the board. So if you find that your opponents are playing Red Politis, Abyssal into your BBK, this is another way to shore it up. To basically guarantee that like the BBK dies, like it will die. Right? If you need her for that, this is like the one to choose. And then this other one, Chain Explosion, decreases combat radius of the target by 50% when using Chain Explosion. This makes her incredible for Cleave, right? Cleave, people have been playing Veronica for a while for her speed imprint status to set up Fumir Cleave and other things like that. She works really good with Elagos. Just having a character now that's that fast that can go and get the guaranteed defense break and like stun, and also now 50%, pushback. That's a pretty good change. That's really good. So all three of these, like this is one of the only exclusive equipments that we've had in years where all three choices are actually good. So again, to recap when you would take them, the first one is if you're struggling to put BBK and Immortality with your bombs. The second one is if you're like more of a standard player that's trying to use her just to counter BBK and you find that you're getting countered a lot by things like Abyssal. And then the third one is for like dedicated Veronica cleavers. All of these are very, very good options, right? I think any of them would be great. Now let's move on to Infinite Horizon Acades here. This one is going to be 10 speed on Robe of Concealment. Kind of nuts, right? HP probably would have been better, but like anytime we see 10 speed, it's something you got to take note of. The character already books it in terms of combat readiness. I personally play mine at like 220, 230 speed with like an absolute metric ton of bulk. So now I'm just going to be zooming while maintaining my huge bulk. That's really, really good. So let's talk about the first one here. Grant stealth to the target for 2 turns when using Power Unleashed. That's her S2. This is honestly pretty insane, right? Because essentially if your opponent has no AoE skills, once you activate this character once, then there's like no way they can access her because she'll be stealth until like she'll literally stay stealth until Power Unleashed is back up. And one of the popular strategies to counter Numa and Luna is to play Infinite Horizon Acades into her so that way Luna never goes for her S3. So what the Luna players do is they just dogpile onto Infinite Horizon Acades, use their S2 on Luna, try a defense breaker, just pile onto her until she's dead, then they seal you with Luna. Well, with this exclusive equipment, if I use my S2, I'm going to sit in stealth and you can't pile on me anymore. Effectively making Numa and Luna, at least if you're on book. If you're on Etika Scepter, you don't really care that much because you'll just kill her eventually through the splash by spamming spears every turn, right? Yeah, if you're on book though, this is like a hard counter to it. So if you're having issues with like book Luna, book Numa and Luna, I think this is really good. Honestly, with this exclusive equipment, I think it's safe to say you can let Numa and Luna off your pre-bans if you have this character. You just lock her behind third pick ban protection with this exclusive equipment and just reap the benefits. Like this feels like this really hard counters Numa and Luna. Power Unleashed here as the second one increases the CR by additional 20% on the S2. I think this is more for people who play the like really fast Infinite Horizon Acades. There are people who play it to like anti-cleave with, right? I think if you're playing her like kind of like the old school Sage Ball and Cezanne where it's like, oh, you get a turn, but then it's my turn, right? ICR cut in front of you. And then people usually use the S2 on Power Unleashed to push a character to the top, right? And then kind of, break the cleave that way. I think for those kinds of Infinite Horizon Acades, this is the way to go. And then Matter Reconstruction increases the amount recovered by 15%. This one's kind of trash. Right, so if you're anti-Luna, you take the first one. If you're anti-Cleave, you take the second one. And I don't think you ever take the third one. I think the third one's pretty trash. Alright, I know I said EEs were the last thing in the patch to talk about. But yeah, here's the new Robbie skin to celebrate Hazama Ray's victory. Unfortunately, I don't think Robbie's very good right now in the current state of PvP. But hey, it's a really good looking skin. I think it's better than the base look for Robbie. And that's largely because she's wearing this like one piece that makes me think, hey, maybe she has pants unlike regular Red Robbie. So yeah, overall, it's better than the default skin for Robbie. I'm here for it. Unfortunately, I don't think, like I said, Red Robbie is like particularly very good. Who knows though? there's always only a couple weeks for the next balance patch. Maybe the next balance patch they buff Red Robbie, because everybody will have the Rainbow Rush skin for her and they'll want to play her. And then as for the rest of the stuff here, Famir, Balance on, not really worth actually rolling for. Changes to the arena system, which seem like, from what I've seen online, don't really change much of anything. And then, of course, yeah, the emblems are still fake League of Legends emblems. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the patch. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Later now.